Okay. All right, everyone. Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for our employee showcase with Simmons Bank. My name is Terrence Hood, and for those who don't know me, I work in our TCU Career Center, and I also work closely with our Student Athlete Development Department, David Swillem, LaRon Haywood, Quinn Josiah, Ray Walls, in terms of career preparation, resume development, all things career preparation. And so we want to welcome you again to our showcase. We want to thank David and Olivia for joining us. We want to learn about the partnership with Simmons Bank. Simmons Bank is a proud partner with TCU for women athletics. So we're going to learn about the partnership and career opportunities with Simmons Bank. So before we get started, I'm going to ask all of our student athletes if you will please show your video, because we think our employees want to see your faces, not just your names. So please, if you will, if you don't mind, if you're able to, please open your video. Please stay muted. We want our employees to interact with you, not just your name. So please share your video with our guests this evening. And at this time, without further ado, I want to turn it over to David and Olivia to talk about Simmons Bank and our last employee showcase of the semester. So Olivia and David, welcome.
Thank you, Terrence. Well, my name is David Darden. I'm a recruiter with Simmons here. Start off initially just kind of giving you an introduction to Simmons. Many of you may not know who we are, but we are an Arkansas-based bank. We've been around since 1903. That entire time, we've been Simmons Bank. And we've grown from a little town in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and ventured out into now Texas, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Missouri. And especially here in the last few years, we've been in a heavy acquisition phase that's really helped us grow in those markets. So I tell people all the time, we're like a large community-based bank. So we're not as big as a Capital One or Regions, but we're not as small as your local credit union. So we give you the stability of being a large bank that we won't flop overnight, but also being involved with our community. So like me and Olivia were actually yesterday volunteering on Ronald McDonald House at a golf tournament. And that's something we actually did on the clock and we were getting paid for. We have what we call September Service Month, where we actually encourage very strongly to get into the community and make a difference. And it can be on the clock. And if it's so, you can use your Simmons attire. They provide, all the needed material for that. And they definitely push for us to make sure we're doing something like that. So that's kind of a small introduction into that. So I don't want to word vomit on you. And I know a lot of y'all are pretty tired from your day to day. But that's kind of the gist of Simmons Bank itself. And I'll pass off to Olivia to kind of go through a little bit more about our sports partnership.
Yeah, thanks, David. Like you said, my name is Olivia. I'm also a recruiter based out of Arkansas. David and I can kind of touch a little bit on the areas that we typically recruit for, but David and I recently have taken over the Dallas-Fort Worth markets. So, with the partnership in TCU, we've gotten to kind of jump into that and arm of the partnership. So just to give you a little bit of background on the partnership, it's pretty new. It was announced last December. It's with 10 universities across our footprint, TCU being one of those universities. And essentially the whole point of the partnership is for us to be able to create opportunities for female athletes post-grad. So in whatever way that we can. So if you have an interest in banking or in the finance industry, or even just looking for something to do out of college, maybe to see what kind of opportunities there are, we would definitely love to connect. To give you some idea of some successes that we've had so far, we have full-time and internship opportunities. So we were able to have an intern last summer from Vanderbilt. She was able to kind of shadow a lot of different areas throughout the bank and get a really good kind of grasp on operations of different groups. We've also made a full-time hire from a university here in Arkansas. She's going to be a financial analyst with our analyst group. She's going to start following graduation in December. And then we've also got another possible intern that's going to work out of our audit department. So there really is a lot of opportunity. We're really looking to tailor make these opportunities to fit you and your interests. So whether that be you're not really sure what you're interested in, we would just love to have a conversation to talk further about that and see where we might align. Lydia, are you on here?
Yes, I am.
Hey, so I'll let Lydia chat for just a quick second. Lydia was a female athlete at one of, it wasn't at a partner school, but was out of school in Tennessee and was an intern for us and is now serving in a business development officer role. So she can kind of speak more to the perspective of being an athlete and an intern and the balance of that, and then moving into a full-time role. So sorry, Lydia, to put you on the spot, but I figured you might have a few things to share.
Yeah, dang, Olivia didn't tell me I was going to have to prepare a speech. She really is putting me on the spot. I'm not sure who my audience is here. Olivia.
These are all female athletes.
At TCU?
Yep.
Oh, awesome. Okay,
Yeah.
That makes me happy. Yes, so I was a college golfer at DBU and then went on to coach for 2 years at a smaller school in Tennessee and found Simmons that way. So my former boss kind of brought me in. I met him playing golf. He brought me into the company, kind of recruited me. So it was a very organic recruiting process for me, which is the best way for it to happen, honestly. It's not always that easy, but it was for me. But yeah, I love working. So now I'm full-time business development officer here in Dallas. And so started in Tennessee. Now I'm in Dallas. I've been in 2 different markets, and I just love working for a company that truly empowers women's sports, because my sport is what made me who I am today. And so I love working for a company that puts action to those words, if that makes it, then just talk about it. They're here supporting women in sports. So
Definitely.
Connect with me on LinkedIn if y'all have any questions. That's awesome. I didn't know that this was full of athletes, but I'm happy to help.
Put you on the spot there, but yeah, Lydia is a great example of just opportunity for growth at Simmons. And even if you are to start in an internship capacity, there's definitely the opportunity to grow into a full-time role. With Simmons being across 6 states, we do have a lot of flexibility, especially here in the South. So if for some reason you're going home in the summer and it's still within our footprint, we can always definitely talk about opportunities there. We know that athletes don't get much time to go home. So when you do get the chance, you're probably going to jump on it. And if the opportunity aligns with what you're looking for, we would certainly love to try to make that work. But to kind of give you an idea of what the process has looked like thus far, if there's anybody who's interested in pursuing this, we've just been having some pretty kind of basic conversations to figure out what your needs are going forward, and what you're wanting, maybe what your major is. Talk to you about some different departments here at the bank. We've got, kind of your traditional retail that you think of a branch, but we've also got a lot of really other cool departments like business development that Lydia is working with. And maybe she can speak on that a little bit, but they're really out in the community and working on brand recognition, and, they're making those relationships, they're building on that. So that's been something fun and exciting over the last couple of years to be able to talk about. We've got a lot of really strong business development officers. So that's been a really exciting thing to talk to new graduates about. Our director of business development is really great and really open and receptive to bringing in younger talent and kind of developing that. So we've got some non-traditional kinds of things that you wouldn't necessarily think about when you think about banking. We've got a really strong analyst program. So if there's any interest in being a credit analyst or a financial analyst, we've definitely got some really strong programs to grow that. David, anything else you might add?
No, you hit a lot of the cool points. Say a lot of people don't know that outside of retail banking, there's opportunities. Like she mentioned about being a business development officer, that can even tie into a long-term goal of being like a commercial lender. So they help make sure customers are aware of products for the bank on a kind of a higher level. People that have a portfolio of over $250 million, they help manage that for them as far as getting loans and things within the bank. The credit analyst side of things, even marketing, traditional marketing as far as paper material, but we're actually trying to develop a graphic design team. That's something that's kind of new for us. So sometimes people think it's just the smooth retail banking that you go into a teller. There's opportunities outside of it. As long as it's not necessarily nursing, we can always try to find an avenue for you. And we're always open to creating new teams too.
Yeah, for sure. Lydia, anything you want to add about business development and kind of what your experience has been, thus far?
Yeah. So I started, this is my 7th week. As a full-time employee. I was an intern since January, but I started full-time in August, and I love my job. I truly do. I'm not just saying that. Nobody's paying me to say that. I mean, they're paying me, but not to say that. But my job is to kind of like be on the front lines of the market and bring in the business. And then the bankers kind of vet the opportunity and they decide if it's something they want to pursue. And if not, then we move along. But if it is something, then my job is to kind of connect the opportunity with the banker. So I'm doing a lot of networking. I'm doing a lot of attending events. And like David said, cross-selling products. So if we have a current customer, I'm kind of tasked with deciding, hey, is there another product within the bank that would be a good fit for this customer? So definitely got a lot to learn on the banking side of it. But if you're, a social butterfly and you like to meet people and you like to talk to people and you like to attend events, and business development is a really fun job, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a great example of it. There's opportunities on both sides. The social butterfly that gets a chance to represent Simmons and be the brand, and then the kind of back office side of things of being a credit analyst, crunching numbers. So there's both worlds opportunities within the bank, and then there's kind of a mingle in between. I feel like me and Olivia kind of sit in that world where we're kind of behind the scenes sometimes, and then opportunities like this, we're out to represent the bank. So there's plenty of chances across the footprint, across the bank, as far as departments. I never want anybody to think it's just one dimensional, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, I know that we have thrown a lot of information out at y'all, but just kind of wanted to give some next steps if there's anybody who is interested in, considering the opportunity. David and I and Lydia would honestly love to have conversations, even if it's something that you're a junior or sophomore and you're thinking about internship opportunities. We've definitely got that. If you're a senior coming up on graduation, looking for a more full-time role, like we've got opportunities for that as well. I know it can be kind of uncomfortable to step out of your comfort zone, especially being a student athlete and being comfortable in kind of that student, wearing that student athlete hat for the last couple of years. And it can be a little intimidating to talk to a company about opportunities, but honestly, like, we want this to succeed. We want y'all to succeed ultimately, and are just, trying to be the bridge for that. So if anybody is interested, we would love to connect with you. Like Lydia said, please connect with us on LinkedIn. I will drop me and David and Lydia's contact information. I'll send that over to Terrence, and we'll also all put our email addresses in the chat. Go ahead and do that really quickly. And like I said, just feel free to reach out to us. And we would love to just have a conversation and see if there's any opportunities that might align with what you're looking for and what we've got here at Simmons.
And also with those internships, we have fall, spring, and summer opportunities. And we'll work with your class schedule, your game schedule. If you need to work only 20 hours, 30 hours, we'll try to be flexible in those situations for the most part, that we're not taking you away from your main goal of being a student athlete.
And they are paid internships. That's also something that is nice as well. All of our interns are paid at $15 an hour.
Nice.
So that can be a nice little extra paycheck. But yeah, like David said, we're definitely willing to be flexible with hours and work around your schedules. We do traditionally have a summer internship program, and that's kind of where our emphasis is, but we're definitely open to fall and spring if it works better for you and your class schedule. So it's really, like we said, we're tailor making these opportunities to you guys, and just want it to be something that's a meaningful experience and that you can walk away from feeling like you got something good out of it. And who knows, we have a long-term opportunity with Simmons. So and I will drop our emails in the chat. Lydia, did you have something you were going to add?
No, not necessarily. I was just going to say, like, I can't see any faces on here. I wish I could see all of y'all's faces. I don't know how to use Zoom. We always use Teams at Simmons, but you guys y'all are just so much more marketable than you really realize. Like, you have so much on your plate, playing a sport and balancing school. That's a lot. And honestly, like, going from that to a job, it's going to feel like a lighter load in my opinion, because you go 12 hours a day when you're in season. And so you're learning a lot of skills that transfer to the workplace. So just believe in that, and don't underestimate like what you're learning, because it will translate. Just the ability to be coachable in your sport translates to the workplace. So just a little bit of encouragement.
For sure. And that hits on, kind of the partnership as a whole, and wanting to hone in on athletes is we recognize that student athletes have a lot of qualities that, like Lydia said, transfer into, great employees. And, you've got to have incredible time management skills. You've got to be flexible and adaptable. These are all things that are very prevalent in your day-to-day kind of routines that you might not realize, but have definitely become habits that you've created that will take you so far beyond your college years. So
yes,
also has opportunities to continue education while you're employed. Once you've been with us for a year, there's opportunities for tuition reimbursement if you want to consider your master's degree. Also opportunities for certifications that Simmons will help pay for. If you're an accounting degree and want to set your CPA, Simmons is willing to help offset the cost of the tests. So a lot of opportunity that might not think of just when you think of traditional banking. We are a community bank, and like David said, we are growing, but we're also able to still really focus on our employees. And I think we're a little over 3,000 employees last time I checked, but it's not so large that you just feel like a number. We've got very visible leadership that I've never worked anywhere else where I've been able to walk into an executive vice president's office or call him on the phone unprovoked and have a conversation. So definitely have a lot of really great opportunities to learn and grow. One of our culture cornerstones is pursue growth. So definitely something that's on the forefront of all of our minds.
Yes. And the culture at Simmons is just like, it's amazing. And I'm not just saying that because I am being forced to, it's just really a culture of empowerment and belief in the employee. My boss is not looking down my neck all the time, checking up on me. He's there if I need him, but he really trusts me to do the job because he's hired me to do a good job. And that goes back to being an athlete, you push yourself. And so if you want to be at a workplace where people are going to just trust that you're going to do a good job, and y'all are all hard workers because you're athletes. So that's definitely something to think about.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I don't know if y'all have any questions or any kind of closing statements. David, did you have anything else you wanted to say before we wrap up?
No, I think we've taken up a good amount of their time. I know they're tired. No, definitely. If anybody had any questions now in the chat or want to hop on quickly, we're fine with that. Also, our contact information is in the chat, like Olivia said. So definitely feel free to reach out. And if you have any questions at all, we love to.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, we love talking about sports. I do.
Yeah, Lydia is kind of our go-to girl for women's athletics.
And I'm fairly close. I'm in Dallas. I'm not too far from Fort Worth.
Yeah, I think Victoria had her hand raised, I believe.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Question?
Hi, I was just wondering, how long is the summer internship, or what time frame?
Yeah,
At the beginning.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No,
it starts at the beginning of June and runs through the beginning of August. We'll work with you depending on when you start school. Some people have an extra couple weeks, so we'll say, hey, you can stay with us till August 15th or something along that lines. But we'll typically start you June 1st, right around that time frame, and you'll work through the beginning of August. And like she said, it's a paid internship. We'll work with your hours, taking summer classes or have anything else going on with sports. If you need to cut it from 40 hours to 30, we'll be flexible with you.
Also, all of our summer interns participate in weekly lunch and learns. Those are opportunities where every week we have all of our interns come together. So all of our interns based in Little Rock are in person, but we dial into other areas of the footprint, and they're able to hear from other departments in the bank, or going to be hearing from some pretty high level people, some executive vice presidents. There's also an executive roundtable where our CEO, CFO, our C-level executives are actually there. Not very often can you say you know got to ask the CEO a question, you know, face to face, and him actually give you a response right then. So that's a really awesome opportunity as well, just for kind of visibility and just getting a better perspective about the bank. Perfect.
Any other questions? We don't bite, I promise you.
But like David said, if you think of anything or just wanted to ask something more private, definitely feel free to send us an email. We'll be happy to chat. But if anybody has any interest, like we said, we'd love to set up a call and see what kind of opportunities there might be for you here at Simmons.
I think that's it for us, Terrence.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, if there are no other questions, I just want to thank Olivia, and I want to thank Lydia, and I want to thank David for joining us. This was very informative. I want to also encourage our student athletes to reach out to the Career Center. If you need help with your resume or interview preparation, you can go to Handshake, download the Handshake app, and make an appointment with us. And as they say, reach out on LinkedIn. It's important that you have a LinkedIn profile. It's all about networking, the conversations, building the rapport. Take advantage of that because it's being offered to you. And some folks don't have that luxury. Some are just depending on resumes. So you don't want to depend on your resume. You want to make those connections before you need it versus when you need it.
Yeah, for sure. I will second the make a LinkedIn profile if you don't have one. David and I and Lydia are probably on LinkedIn on a daily basis. It's kind of like another form of social media, but just so, you know, it's a great place to celebrate victories in your professional life, but also a great way to network people, you know. So definitely do that if you haven't already. Connect with us, connect with everybody you can, because you never know when you know you might come across that person in a professional setting. So definitely second that. And like Terrence said, take advantage of the resume help for sure. Resumes aren't everything, but they're definitely a big thing, and take advantage of that. I think a lot of people, like Terrence said, don't have that luxury. So utilize those resources that you have, and also use us as a resource too. Like we said, we want you to succeed, and whether that's with Simmons or not, we want to see y'all. So we would love to also, you know, if there's anything, whether you need help with interviewing or anything like that, we would love to do that as well. So definitely take advantage of those resources, and we're always here if y'all need us.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much for your time tonight. And Terrence, thank you for putting this together for us. And I'll probably follow up with you afterwards and just kind of have send you our flyer. That way, maybe you can pass it along. That would be great.
Please do send me everything you have. This was recorded, everyone. And we're going to put this on our TCU Student Athlete Development YouTube channel after this. It's just TCU SADEV, TCU SADEV on YouTube. We want to upload it to YouTube. If you missed it, want to check it out again, go to our YouTube channel. We have tons of other career videos on there as well. I did put the event survey in the chat for our student athletes. Please do this survey. If you want to get your Horned Frogs for Life credit, the survey is required. So if you want the credit for attending our event, please go to the Google form, fill out the survey to get your Horned Frogs for Life credit. Or, yeah, so again, it may have already been submitted. So if you have any questions about the survey, reach out to me or Quinn Jasai in Student Athlete Development. Olivia and David and Lydia, thank you so much again for joining us. We appreciate the information and appreciate all the insight, and go Frogs.
Yeah, go Frogs.
Go Frogs.
Thank you, Terrence.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you.